Hey guys, what's I know you don't like that. So today we'll just start with the topic itself without any intro and all because I know you only want content and not my intro or who am I or today's weather is good and stuff like that. Before we get started, I want to tell you guys that at the end of the video, I'm gonna tell you what would be my topic for the next video. So stay till the end guys. So let's begin. Re:Zero Watch Order. Re:Zero Full Rei starting life in another world from zero is an amazing anime, no doubt about it, but many anime watchers get confused regarding its watch order. Even I was confused when I completed its first season. So guys, I'll tell you its watch order and also which stuff you can skip and which you must not. So to begin with, you'll obviously watch Re:Zero Season 1, which contains a total of 25 episodes, with the first episode being a 50 minutes extended episode aired from April 4, 2016 to September 9, 2016. After that comes Re:Zero Starting Break Time from Zero, which is a series of chibi style version of characters, also called ONA, which started airing from 8th April after each episode of Re:Zero Season 1. Though it's not necessary to watch it as it doesn't add anything special to the anime, it contains 11 episodes. Later, it was replaced by Repeated, Starting Life in Another World from Pitted, which has 14 episodes and began airing from June 24. So it should be watched after break time, but it's the same as break time, so it could be skipped. Next are the two Re:Zero movies, the first one being Memory Snow. It was released on October 6, 2018 after the first season, but happens between episode 11 and 12 of the first season. But it's better to watch it after season 1. Now, the second movie, named The Bond of Ice, was released on November 8, 2019, should be watched after Memory Snow. These two movies should be watched as they have a link to the season 2 of the anime, especially The Bond of Ice. After the movies comes the director's cut, released in 2020. It's basically the edited version of the first season, compiled in 13 one-hour episodes. It has some extra scenes and can be skipped if you have watched season 1, but the last episode is directly related to season 2, which was not in the original release, so it must be watched. With the director's cut being over, we have Re:Zero Season 2, which has been splitted into two halves. The first half premiered on July 8, 2020, with the last episode being aired on September 30, 2020. It contains 13 episodes. Like Season 1, Season 2 also has the ONAs, which began airing from July 10, containing a total of 13 episodes, which can be skipped as well. At last, the second half of the second season is set to premiere on January 2021 and would have 12 episodes in total. Let's recall what I have explained in brief. Re:Zero Season 1 obvious, Re:Zero Break Time not necessary, Repeated not necessary, Re:Zero Memory Snow necessary, Re:Zero The Bond of Ice necessary, Re:Zero Director's Cut not necessary but must watch the last episode, Re:Zero Season 2 first half obvious, Re:Zero Break Time Season 2 not necessary, Re:Zero Season 2 second half upcoming in January. I hope now you guys know the correct watch order for Re:Zero, and talking about me, I'm really excited for the second half of the second season. Now, as I said earlier, if you'd stay tuned, I would tell what would be my topic for the next video. Are you guys still here? Anyways, the answer is Demon Slayer. Stay tuned for the next video. Stay safe. Sayonara.